Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today I thought we'd have ourselves a little experiment in this whole collaboration video business. So joining me today is Edgy Sphinx, and we're gonna have a look at a retarded video from MTV about gay Muslims hating the West, or something like that. It's a really confused video, but it's got snowflakes, so we're in. So without further ado, let's get this show on the road, shall we? Enjoy!
MTV News isn't just on some stupid shit, they're on some dishonest shit.
You can say that again, buddy. But then again, MTV isn't all that good with sticking to the truth, are they? You know, like ever.
I wake up every morning and I wonder, which identity am I gonna be killed for today?
Oh, that happens to you a lot, huh?
You say that as if you've been killed before. What the hell was that like?
You have Donald Trump tweeting, LGBT people, I'm here to protect you. But at the same time, he also says in the same tweet, we're gonna protect you from the people trying to kill you.
Okay, that's not exactly what he said, but let's assume that's what he meant. Is it a bad thing to protect you from people who want to kill you? Do you want to kill yourself?
So one part of me, he wants to protect and fight for me, but on the other side, he wants to ban me.
But if you're an American citizen or a permanent resident, how could Trump possibly do that? I mean, look at the tweet you just showed. He says Hillary wants to bring in people, as in people who aren't in America yet.
I think the United States has to do more, and I would like to see us move from what is a good start with 10,000 to 65,000.
Following right in the footsteps of her hero, Mama Merkel.
Where does that leave LGBT Muslims?
Where does it leave you? It leaves you in the West, because if you were in the Middle East, you'd be dead. It leaves you in a culture where we don't allow people to kill each other for religious reasons under any circumstances. And that was probably the point Donald Trump was trying to make.
Basically, it feels like my identities are being used against each other.
Well, assuming you don't want to kill other gay people, do you really have the same identity as Omar Mateen, someone who did kill gay people because of his religion, which happens to be Islam?
And even you, as a supposedly liberal Muslim, must admit that the problem of gay people being persecuted is predominantly a problem with Islam. I mean, let's just be real. Can we be real for a second?
Get heckled, we get harassed by NYPD, we not just as queer people who look different or, gender non-conforming or trans, but also we get harassed and surveyed because we're Muslim.
Well, you don't look that weird, and I wouldn't have been able to tell you were Muslim unless you told me. I guess you just did, huh?
Oh, and let's not forget that religion is something you can opt out of. Unlike your sexual orientation, you can choose to not be Muslim anymore. Which is something I would definitely consider if I were you, seeing as how homophobic your holy book is.
I think the term radical Islam is a term that's overused.
You mean like how the feds removed all references to Islam when they released the transcripts from the Orlando 911 call? That kind of overused? Or maybe you mean the way President Fuck-Up spent part of his counterterrorism speech talking about how we shouldn't use the phrase radical Islam.
The main contribution of some of my friends on the other side of the aisle have made in the fight against ISIL is to criticize this administration and me for not using the phrase radical Islam. As one defector said, ISIL is not bringing Islam to the world, and people need to know that.
ISIL is not bringing Islam to the world, and people need to know that.
What exactly would using this label accomplish?
Is that what you mean?
And also, what's wrong with calling things what they are?
But I also feel like it's a term that could be applied to any religion, any community.
Yeah, all religions and cultures are exactly the same, you guys. That's why you see LGBT people being decapitated and thrown off of buildings every single day in the US. Just the other day, I was walking down the street and I almost got hit by one. Luckily, Zay missed me.
Hashtag not all.
What do they mean when they say radical Islamism? Who do they mean?
They mean the extreme literalists who wouldn't care that you call yourself a Muslim and would kill you for being LGBT anyway. Or maybe they mean the majority of the Muslim world who would just be okay with it. What matters is that you seem more offended and upset by people who point out the intolerance of Islam than you are about actual intolerant Muslims.
Using this term to kind of comfort people in America that, look, we know what it is.
What is it with you people and losing your shit over a specific word or term? Let's not get sidetracked by the fact that most Muslims hate gay people. Somebody used the wrong word.
It's radical Islamism and we need to kill it, and we need to survey them, and we need to deport them.
Who said anything about deporting anyone unless they're here illegally? Deporting an American citizen or permanent resident would be unconstitutional.
When people use radical Islam, it just feels like the boogeyman.
Feels like. Really? I'm supposed to care about that? Well, I don't care. Take your fifis and shove them up your ass.
I don't care about the things you say, 'cause I'm gonna do it anyway. Hey, hey.
You got any stats on how many suicide bombings, beheadings, and stonings the boogeyman has done?
Being transgender in this day and time is rough, especially with everything going on. And being Muslim is also. But I wouldn't trade it for the world.
But would you trade it for the World Trade Center? Huh? What, too soon? No. It's been 15 years.
The ideas held by the majority of Muslims are literally a threat to the world, and you wouldn't trade it for the world. Life is rough for Muslims because of other Muslims and the ideas that they got from Islam. And what makes it even worse is the fact that you refuse to call out these regressive mindsets while also trying to distinguish yourself from them. Is there a difference between moderate Muslims and radical Muslims or not?
You go, Sphinx. I couldn't have said it better myself.
I want people to recognize that a lot of us live at these intersections that aren't super clear.
The fuck are you talking about? What the fuck does that even mean? Can I offer you some word salad?
Our love lives are really complex, and our family lives are really complex, and our relationship to religion is really complex.
No, it's crystal clear and really simple. The reason you can hold these two conflicting identities is because you live in a society that values individual rights. Meanwhile, in the Muslim world, our friend ThePharaoh has provided us with a screenshot showing that this very video is actually unavailable for viewing in Egypt, a country where it's completely illegal to be gay, and 94% of the country's 75 million Muslims believe that homosexuality is immoral. So I guess MTV News is fine with pushing this agenda here in the West, but when it comes to the actual Muslim world, they're scared of triggering people. How about that?
I hope that after this tragedy that we have a more meaningful conversation about how we can move forward.
And you think the way forward is to complain about the people who are protecting you from the people in your religion who wants to murder you? The cognitive dissonance going on here is so palpable that it could be packaged, shipped, and sold as an industrial solvent.
Not just as separate communities, but as people who live in this country, as people who want the best for humanity.
If you really cared about what was best for humanity and about having a more meaningful conversation, you would be making some concessions about your religion. You would be speaking out against the majority of Muslims who believe that they'd be doing you a favor by murdering you. You might be the exception to the rule, but an exception doesn't disprove the rule, now does it?
Yeah, and that's a really interesting point, because Muslims believe that if you're gay, you don't go to heaven. But if you're gay and get murdered, then you actually go to heaven. So by murdering you, they actually believe that they're doing you a favor. How about that? Alright, Edgy, I think that pretty much wraps it up.
Big thanks to Undoomed for having me, and if you enjoyed this video, my channel's in the description box. Have a great one, guys.
And that concludes our show for tonight, so thanks for watching and see you next time.